Hello. Thank you for listening. This is the near death experience of Tammy. This experience occurred on July 24th of 2015 and was documented on January 1st of 2018. Open quote. During my NDE, I had both negative and positive visions. I also had a life review, as well as the ability to see future events in my life. Numbers played an important factor in my NDE. To start, I was standing on what was resembled a number line. I was standing at a perfect zero in physical form on this number line. I could see my entire body in physical form. The right side of the number line had a bluish color. The left side had a reddish color. My attire was the same as it was when I went in for surgery. I was wearing a black skirt, white sleeveless shirt with black roses on it. I saw a soul like variation of myself standing directly across from where I was standing in physical form. From the waist up, I saw the soul like variation of myself wearing the same attire as the physical form of me. The soul like variation of myself was surrounded by a fluorescent bluish whitish color light. A red question mark was above the middle of my forehead. On each side, the number line extended to the number 104 on both sides. I saw the number 104 burning in flames to the left of me. The numbers 72 and 22 were lit up to the right of me. Those were the only numbers I had seen so vividly. Those three numbers had stood out more than any of the other numbers. I didn't see any symbols on the left side. I experienced smells of burning flesh and hair while looking towards the left of the number line during my life review. There was a door that was a grayish black color. It was very squeaky and needed some WD 40 lubricant. The door appeared to be very heavy in weight. Out of the door came two soul like figures that were literally burning alive. This was my soon to be ex husband and his father, burning alive right before my eyes. Seeing them standing to the left of me at a 45-degree angle, they were screaming in pain, regret, and remorse, and it was so hard for me to grasp. With each flame that arose, more and more regret, anger, remorse, and rage consumed their souls. Then came my life review, which was also done on the same side as their burning souls. A complete life review on the left side of how I treated others was quite overwhelming. In that moment, the speed of my life was flashing before me, a speed that is immeasurable on earth. By comparison, the speed was much faster than watching a DVD being rewound on the fastest speed. Seeing the pain and agony of how poorly I had treated people was a shock at all levels. Seeing the lies that I told, the cheating and stealing was shown so vividly. I saw my drug using days and the vast amount of disrespect I had for people, even those of whom I professed to love. My mother was one of the biggest victims of my disrespect. Prior to my NDE, it was as if I were watching a rewound version of my life while wearing 3D glasses. During the life review, I felt heat that was so very intense and more intense than any inferno. My wrongdoings, or sins, were measured in sync and severity with the heat. Once adultery was shown, the heat became even more intense. Lying caused the heat to intensify just as much as the adultery. Based on the temperature of the heat, the message instantly revealed was that I needed to be truthful in all of my actions. It also revealed telepathically to not be so aggressive. a divine telepathic communication that was telling me to be more loving and open my heart. After my life review, there was a brief minute of darkness. Directly following that brief screen of darkness, I was now at the right side of the number line. There was a divine presence of positive energy as well as telepathic communication from the divine while on the right side. I would have to classify the right side as the high definition side. Emotions really seemed to manifest themselves within me while on this side. Practicality seemed to dissipate, allowing more heartfelt love to flow into me. The love was overwhelming, unadulterated bliss that had consumed my soul, unlike anything I had ever felt before. I felt a sense of peace and content as I was gazing at the intensely bright light. On this side, there was no fear, heat, or foul smells. Negativity was non-existent on this side because of so much positive energy. Love was a more prominent emotion, unlike fear on the left side. Through a smoky beam of bluish-white light, I did see what resembled a word globe-looking symbol in a brassy gold color. There were some squiggly lines with 3 letters accompanying the globe-like symbol. Due to the light being so bright, I could only make out one of the letters. It looked like a crooked M. I had experienced communication with a deceased little girl, of whom later revealed to be my daughter. I was given the opportunity to converse with this little girl about making changes. While staring at her features in my NDE, I saw so much of myself in her. She had long black hair and beautiful dark brown eyes. Her complexion was so beautiful, and I saw my features. She had her father's eyes and was probably close to 5 years old. Immediately and instinctively, I knew who she was before even asking. I was in awe of the similarity in features and asked, "Are you?" Before I could finish my sentence, she said, "Yes, Mommy, I'm your daughter." By her physical appearance and age range, I knew this had to be true. She said, "Mommy, why couldn't you keep me?" I said, "Baby, Mommy had what was called an abortion." I said, "There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think about you. Mommy is so sorry, and I was married to another man, and your daddy was married to another woman." I asked, "Do you forgive me?" She says, "Yes, Mommy. It's okay, Mommy. But you have to change. Mommy, you have to stop being mean to people." Standing beside her was a tall, handsome man wearing an aqua iced blue dress shirt. He was standing at a 45-degree angle under the word globe sign that I described earlier. In his hands was a device that was as big as a cell phone by comparison. I had never seen anyone whom fits his description prior to my NDE. In that moment, I thought of him as a mystery man and was literally able to feel his energy. He radiated such a positive vibe and a feeling of belonging. It felt as if I had seen him in a past spiritual realm at one time, or was going to encounter his presence. We never verbally spoke. We telepathically communicated with each other in my NDE. I could see into his soul almost as if he was just as captivated by me as I was him. I stared up at this tall man, and his heart fluttered for the first time ever. There were visions of us riding on a bus together and laughing. These visions flashed before my eyes just as my life review did while on the left side. Nearby scenery revealed white birds in a lake while the bus was in motion. He had complete adoration for me while holding this electronic device. A feeling of adoration and unadulterated shock ran through my system as I stared intently at the glow around him. There were two buttons on this device, a red button on the left in which there were a few squiggly lines. However, the lines didn't seem to form any words. A blue button was on the right of this device, measuring significantly larger than the red button on the left. The words "send back" were written in bold black letters just below the blue button. My daughter and I had a conversation, and she had told me that I needed to change. She and I discussed the changes that I needed to make. All of the changes had encompassed around what I was shown to me in the life review. I needed to change my aggression and not be so negative. My daughter forewarned me to stop cheating when I find love again. She reminded me to be honest, true, and sincere in my actions, and not to be such a dominant female. She said, "Stop being cold and mean, Mommy." I also received a telepathic message from God that reminded me to get baptized again. Telepathically, the message communicated was, "Go and find the rivers of belief." Before I could be sent back, I was asked by my daughter if I would agree to be making these changes. She said, "Mommy, if you say you will change, we can send you back." I had agreed to those changes by telling her yes. I also telepathically communicated with God by mentally responding, "Yes, I will commit to making changes." The energy on the other side was so intense. Then I felt like there was electricity running through my veins at the earthly level. There was a love so strong, with such a magnetic pull, that it drew me to the light more and more. Upon telepathic communication with the divine, I felt immeasurable, positive energy ingrained in my soul. A slight portion of that energy remained with me during my journey back to Earth. Just before I was sent back, parts of Ozzy Osbourne's song, "See You on the Other Side," was playing as I began waking from my NDE. The exact 4 lines were, "But we'll be together, carved in stone, carved in stone, carved in stone." I distinctly remember my last thought being, "I need to find this mystery man upon returning to Earth." Visions of us becoming romantic were not tangibly seen in my NDE, but only intuitively felt. I was able to feel his embrace without him actually embracing me. Just looking up at him had me beyond the scope of captivated. A complete and utter feeling of warmth and love consumed my soul. In that moment, it was unlike anything I had ever felt. By comparison, it was a love stronger than death. I knew immediately that seeing him in my NDE was an indication of some sort. I was convinced that God was trying to tell and or show me something by him being in my NDE. However, during the NDE, I couldn't figure out the entire message. I did get a feeling as if we were going to end up together romantically at some point. All that came to mind telepathically from God was, "Go find him, Tammy." Visions of him in the aqua ice-colored shirt plus his overall physical appearance began to change. During the changing of his physical appearance and shirt colors, I felt a sense of loss within me. It felt almost as if I could sense him becoming ill, which would end our contact on Earth. Suddenly, a transformative vision of him came into play. He had changed from wearing an aqua ice blue shirt to wearing a white shirt with a burgundy colored tie. I had briefly seen a quick camera-like flash of myself in a wedding gown standing beside him. We were standing at a bus stop that was adjacent to what resembled a courthouse building. However, this vision of him had revealed a much younger physique. Although he was dressed in different attire and a younger physique, he still felt like the same mystery man. Spiritually, it was as if the connection never died. His new physique resembled darker eyes and a beard, and with his height remaining the same. Perhaps maybe this was a sign of reincarnation, that we would find each other again, no matter what. I truthfully do not know. What I do know is the soul feeling was the same. All visions faded, and I had entered reality. Reality meaning I was literally able to feel my soul reuniting with my physical body. At the earthly level, I was feeling a sense of enlightenment and fully awakening at a different level. I woke up at the hospital and was literally sweating in the recovery room. My nightgown had disappeared, and I complained to the nurse about the heat being so intense. I had said, "Where is my purple nightgown?" The nurse told me, "You took it off." I said, "I did?" She said, "Yes, ma'am, and we tried putting a thinner cotton one on you too, and you fought us." Needless to say, I was perfectly comfortable with my bare breast, feeling the softness of the hospital blanket. I kept repeating, "The heat, it is so intense, it is so intense. I'm alive, I'm alive." I called my soon-to-be ex-father-in-law to give him an update hours later. I had discussed with him what I saw. He said in a very serious tone, "It sounds like you had a near-death experience." I was in a complete state of shock and denial. Confusion was very well accompanying the shock and denial. Over the phone, I described a man in my NDE to my soon-to-be ex-father-in-law. He was insistent that I had a near-death experience and had been given the opportunity to see into my future. I was beside myself, still being able to feel this mystery man's energy. This energy was so prominent and couldn't be ignored. Later that evening, I snapped a few pictures of me and made a quick video with my cell phone. I had taken some paper and a pen with me in case I needed to write any important surgery information. Hours later, I had wrote a brief outline of the visions I had seen. The next day, making a video before being released from the hospital became a priority. I thought to myself, a video needs to be made in the event we find our way to each other through fate. Without knowing his name, I referred to him as Baby in the video. Upon returning home, I prayed constantly to find this mystery man. I spent various evenings wondering who he was and questioning why I saw him. I eventually moved to a new apartment by a lake. The complex I moved to was in a bad area, yet I still had the desire to move there. However, something kept gnawing at me, indicating there was a deeper reason behind moving there. Nevertheless, moving there had sealed my fate. Fate had led me to my NDE mystery man, John, just under 1 year later. We had met on a bus a few months after my NDE on April 6, 2016. I recognized him immediately and was in a state of shock. The morning he stepped on the bus, all of the scenery on the bus ride was exactly what was seen in my NDE. His shirt had the same squiggly lines and word globe signal that was seen in my NDE. We started out talking periodically on the bus with just general everyday conversation. There was always such a bright glow about him, especially when he would wink at me. Around the August of 2016 timeframe, we formally introduced ourselves to each other by shaking hands. Just the touch of his hand made me weak in the knees. Energy surges ran through my body, leaving me rendered still. I went home and said to myself, This is without a doubt unbelievable. I have met the mystery man. As I touched his hand, that same energy resurfaced itself from my NDE. The following month, we hugged on September 2nd. On that day, he was wearing the same exact colored aqua ice blue dress shirt as in my NDE. We exchanged email addresses, and things began to take off at that point. I sent him the first email on October 3rd, 2016, and was captivated where our conversation went. Ironically enough, he had typed in an email. Looks like we just wrote our script for next Friday night. Well, the first scene, of course, his use of the word script made me think to myself that when the time is right, I will show you the video. All that ran through my mind was the original outline I had wrote while in Chesapeake on July 24th, 2015. In that moment, while conversing, it felt as if we had known each other for centuries. Time stood still, leaving my body to shake with genuine warmth. Warmth that had permeated throughout every vein. Several months went by. We had our ups and downs. Overall, our connection was so deep that cannot be diffused. Having the ability to read each other's minds and feel each other is indescribable, even to this day. Close quote. Oh my, that was pretty intense, Tammy. And part one, I don't know. There are some questions. What a captivating story. So she has her NDE in July of 2015 and then meets the mystery man on the bus just under a year, around August, just about a year. Or no, just about under a year. And so then this story was documented then on January 1st of 2018. So it looks like they've kind of been more serious for a little over a year and a couple months since the time this was documented. I wonder if we're going to get any more information in the questions. Let's see. Question, your highest level of consciousness, rating that. During my life review, I was beside myself. The alertness was so intense. Telepathic communication felt as if it was in a form of electricity. Question, at what time were you at your highest level of consciousness or alertness? Answer, as I was being shown my entire life review that encompassed around bad events. I literally, all caps, felt extreme heat as I was being shown the error, but probably it's error, of my ways. Question, did time seem to speed up or slow down? Answer, time seemed almost as if it was a non-factor during my NDE. Comparing your vision? Answer, everything appeared as if I was watching a movie in high definition and wearing 3D glasses. Question, comparing your hearing. My hearing was more amplified. Everything seemed to have a higher frequency of being able to hear sounds more intensely. Question, did you see or feel surrounded by a brilliant light? Answer, a light. I saw a grayish, white, bluish in color light that was extremely bright. Question, what emotions did you feel during the experience? Answer, I had both a negative feeling of fear as I was going through my life review. During the future life review, I felt unconditional love, unlike anything I had ever felt on Earth. Question, did you suddenly seem to understand everything? Answer, I understood that I needed to employ some serious changes upon return to Earth. Question, did scenes from your past come back to you? Answer, My past flashed before me out of control. I was literally in a state of trauma as my bad habits from my past were flashing before my eyes. The heat during this time was so intense and hot, I was in awe. During my life review, I also saw two figurines of two faces burning alive as they were present during my life review. The two faces were my soon-to-be ex-husband, at the time, and his father. Question: did scenes from the future come to you? Answer: scenes from my personal future. I saw a mystery man that I had never met before. There were visions of he and I riding together on a bus, laughing. Question: did you come to a border or point of no return? Answer: I was asked by my aborted daughter if I would commit to change. She had asked me this directly after my life review was shown. Question: what was your religion prior to your experience? Answer: do not know. I always believed in God. I adopted some of the Catholic beliefs, but never really had a set religion. Question: have your religious practices changed since your experience? Answer: yes. I am way more into spirituality now. Question: what is your religion now? Answer: other or several faiths. Spiritual, Wiccan, worshipping of nature and the four elements, and Christian. Did your experience include features consistent with your earthly beliefs? No. Entirely inconsistent. Did you have a change in your values and beliefs because of your experience? Answer: yes, my entire life has changed. I treat people differently and have become a more loving person all the way around. Question: did you seem to encounter a mystical being or presence or hear an unidentifiable voice? Answer: I encountered a definite being. I could feel the energy of what would more than likely be God. I never tangibly saw God, just felt his presence. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about the existence of God? Answer: yes, I telepathically communicated with God and agreed to change my ways upon return back to Earth. Question: during your experience, did you gain special knowledge or information about your purpose? Answer: yes, the individual purpose was to learn to love and trust, as well as be honest in all of my intentions. It's a good thing. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about the meaning of life? Answer: yes. The message that seemed to appear was to be truthful, sincere, and love unconditionally. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about an afterlife? Answer: an afterlife definitely exists. Yes, I may have experienced a form of reincarnation as described in my narrative. Question: during your experience, did you gain information about love? Answer: yes. The overall message I received was to open my heart and become a more loving person. Question: what life changes occurred in your life? Answer: large changes. I have become extremely spiritual, capital S. Question: have your relationships changed specifically because of your experience? Answer: yes, I am more loving and intimate in my relationship with my boyfriend. However, my children, daughter especially, is highly overwhelmed by all of my changes. Question: how accurately do you remember the experience? I remember it more accurately than other experiences. Do you have any psychic, non-ordinary, or other special gifts after your experience that you did not have before the experience? Answer: yes. I have a strong precognition. I am highly empathic. Question: are there one or several parts of your experience that are especially meaningful or significant to you? Answer: the love of the divine is so positive and powerful. Question: have you ever shared this experience with others? Yes. Just about 2 years after my experience. In truth, I was discriminated against when my coworkers found out. I ended up getting terminated from my job shortly after working knowledge came out about my NDE. I was able to see my termination date in advance through precognition and am currently working on an article about it. Question: what do you believe about the reality of your experience? Answer: it was definitely real. I knew that my experience was real and I had to begin making lifestyle changes. I was somewhat in denial because I had both a positive and negative NDE. The reality of the experience was an eye-opener that serves a major purpose in my decision-makings today. I will never forget how intense the heat was from that experience. Question: at any time in your life, has anything ever reproduced any part of the experience? Answer: yes. I had a Kundalini awakening, precognitive awakening vision. This had happened after having to revisit the same hospital where I had my NDE. Question: is there anything else you would like to add about your experience? Answer: when I awoke from the anesthesia, I could literally feel the heat from the experience, and I fought with the nurses to take my hospital gown off. I woke up complaining about the heat. End quote, and end questions. And isn't it amazing the NDEs, the differences that people have? And Tammy's certainly not alone with doing things on the left and doing things on the right. But we don't necessarily see that in every NDE. It's pretty amazing how that goes. Goodness, Tammy, your NDE experience and the way you wrote it was simply amazing and full of drama. And we wish you all the best. You and your mystery man. Really, that's that. I was looking for some more on that. Where's part 2 on that one? And thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you have a great day.